If you can hear this, do not adjust your Aethervox. This is the Avalon Society Emergency Broadcast Network. You're listening to a recount of the real events surrounding the catastrophe which occurred in the city of London at the end of May 1907. The Mercantile Guild has marched into London in the wake of supernatural events surrounding the burning figure in the sky above the city. Tensions mount as martial law, mandated by the minister, have sparked city-wide civil unrest. Notable socialite prima donna Hortensia Fiddlewick, along with friends and colleagues Ludovica Wilhelmina von Drusty zu Mullenbeck, notable explorer Professor Giovanni Scarpati and his boy ward William, as well as her attorney-at-law, attempt to persuade her publicist to prepare a protest outside the Opera House later that evening. However, her pavilion is pilfered by the Piccadilly Steamfitter Union, who has drawn the attention of the Guild. As the shadow of the Guild descend upon the peaceful rally, how will our plucky protagonists pull themselves out of this predicament? To find out, stay tuned and listen close to Episode 2 of London Falls.
G'day guys and welcome. My name is Michael and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to Through the Breach Avalon Society London Falls Episode 2. Joining me, of course, is a star-studded cast of fantastic players who will be joining me in this card-based RPG as we follow the tale of a group of unsuspecting people during one of the most calamitous portions of the Through the Breach? Yeah, I get the words right. Through the Breach mythos. Joining me, of course, to my immediate side, of course, is none other than Guy from How to Be a Great Game Master. G'day, Guy.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing?
Doing absolutely fantastic. Tell us a little bit about yourself and, of course, the character that you'll be playing.
Well, my name is Guy and I run the YouTube channel How to Be a Great GM. You can find us at www.greatgamemaster.com, and I will be playing Edward Sebastian Hargrave Montague. Now, I am a little bit of a barrister. As you may have noticed, I have already objected to the opening of this particular show, as I feel it should open earlier and run for longer, but it is what it is, and no one pays attention to me anyway. So I'm afraid that's where we are.
Alas, tis what it is. And of course, next in line, of course, is the ever wonderful, ever talented Till. Hello, Till.
Hello, everyone. Hi. I'm glad to be back here. Hi.
Always glad to have you. Tell us about yourself and who you will be playing today.
I'm Till Lammer. I'm the CEO and founder of Dungeon Fog, the map-making tool. You can find us at www.dungeonfog.com. And I'm playing Professor John Scarpati, an old archaeologist, professor, and shady, well, smuggler that is looking for a way to retire and find a successor to whatever he wants to pass his business on. I'm a bit of a grumpy person, so yeah, you're going to see me cursing again.
Absolutely. And next to Till, of course, we have the ever lovely Janet. Hello, Janet. Tell us about yourself and what you're playing today.
I am Janet. I am the founder and CEO of World Anvil. That's worldanvil.com, where you can do world building and write books and play campaigns and stuff. It's great. I like it. It's my baby. Yes, that was a very official introduction. Sorry. And I am playing today prima donna Hortensia Fiddlewick, who is an opera singer, an opera star, I shall have you know. Although she has a few secrets, but enough of that, darling. It's all about the love of the stage, isn't it? Yes.
And of course, if there's anyone that knows things about skeletons in closets, this is, of course, Myri and her character. Hello, Myri. How are we doing today? Terrifying as always.
Great. Hi, I'm Myri. I'm the face and the voice and part of the team behind Orkenspalter TV, which is, I guess it's true to say, the biggest German YouTube channel dealing in tabletop RPGs. and I'm playing Ludovica Wilhelmina von Droste zu Möllenbeck, who is three things foremost. She's German, she's a secretary, and she's dead, which doesn't stop her from rocking around and causing chaos.
Not necessarily in that order either. Now, before we get started, there is something else really exciting that these guys are getting involved in that I very, very briefly wanted to talk to you about, and that is, of course, the Circle of Game Masters event that they are going to have running at the end of the month. Janet, could you tell us a little bit about this event and the star-studded itinerary that is about to unfold upon the internet?
Moi, little me? Well, of course. Well, me and my bestest bum chums, that is, of course, Dungeon Fog and Great GM. Mary, I love you too, by the way. We are standing together to create an event which is a 2-day extravaganza of world building and game mastering. It is called an online workshop. It is also could be called a masterclass, I suppose. On the first day, we're going to be giving you education about world building, making amazing campaigns, making amazing maps, creating incredible encounters. And on the second day, we're going to invite people to submit their work, where we can give them feedback in a masterclass style session where like everyone can learn, right? It should be amazing. We do have a secret guest star that we have not yet announced. And if you would like to know more, take part, submit your things, or even just get the supplementary material that will go along with this, you can go to circleofworldbuilders.com. That is circleofworldbuilders.com, darling. And yeah, you can sign up for the newsletter where you'll get all the information as it is released. It should be amazing. You should come join us.
All right. Awesome. And I will definitely be there myself, so I hope to see you guys there as well. And of course, before we begin, we need to give some love to, of course, the ever wonderful and awesome people who host us. That is, of course, the Mercs of Mischief themselves and their myriad of awesome programming. All right. Without any further ado, you find yourselves amongst the people of London, rubbing shoulder to shoulder with aristocrats and the punters themselves in the middle of what appears to be a protest on the steps of the Opera House. As you can see around you, people have started to show not only frustration at the presence of the guild now pretty much everywhere in the streets, but the fact that you can't even have a simple rally without their intervention. All surrounding this small gathering of people are men in red coats with wide brim hats and rifles at the ready, prepared to pounce upon and disperse the protest before it's really taken full swing. Released from the nearby carriers, of course, are these mechanical monstrosities known as the Riot Breakers, who slowly begin to march upon the protest and towards our fated characters who are among them. So, beginning our adventure, what do you do as these giant constructs make their way towards you? I say giant, they're a little bit bigger than people. They're about maybe 7 foot tall, give or take.
I grab the barrister, shove him in front of us, and say, "Talk to them."
Right, yes, of course. Contact. I have it here.
Citizens, you have been found obstructing justice. If you do not remove immediately from the vicinity, you shall be subdued.
I have a cease and desist letter here. I'm officially from a court, and we came to break up the gathering. We really do have a cease and desist letter here.
All right. We're going to start with our very first flip of the game, and that is, of course, going to be So now you don't actually have a a legally notarized cease and desist order. You do have one.
It's signed by the king. That would be the king of pizza.
Yes. That is true.
But it's signed by a king.
You may choose to use either a bureaucracy or a deception check in order to try and trick the robot into believing your litigation.
Sorry. The bureaucracy or deception?
Indeed.
I will go with the deception, considering it is signed by the king of pizza.
All right.
Oh,
pretty decent.
15. See, it's all legitimate. It really is.
You watch as the giant red eye of the riot breaker pans down and focuses on the parchment in your hand. This red light scans it up and down for a moment before it stops.
Very well. By issue order mandate 764398B, you are required to disperse this crowd. Riot breakers standing down.
No, wait a minute.
As the riot breakers stand down, there is a quiet that hushes over the entire crowd. The people stop in almost awe that you've stopped this march of these mechanical soldiers. Everyone then stops and looks at you, hearing now that you are the person who is supposed to break them up. There's very angry faces as far as the eye can see, all the way to the stage outside of the pavilion with what appears to be these cross-armed individuals, like, we won't go, kind of.
Prima donna, the stage is yours. I suggest we go with the line that we're here to break them up because there are better ways of resolving conflict than protesting.
Yes, indeed. Certainly less messy, and I will require my stage to be blood-free tonight. So, yes, let us adjourn to the stage and entertain these somewhat unwashed masses.
You begin to make your way
mind
through
clapping.
You're asking the robots, or are you?
No, I'm asking Ludwika to clap. That the prima donna is taking the stage. No, go, clap.
And you hear the people start to rise to an applause as prima donna takes to the stage. The woman who is on stage already, she's wearing overalls and a miner's outfit. She's got the kind of grease stains on her face from hard day's labor. As she sort of sees you, she has like this like sort of a tin cone that she's been using to amplify her voice. She sort of sees you approaching and recognizes what the crowd wishes to hear, handing the cone over to you and stepping to one side.
As she does that, I lay a hand on her shoulder and I go, mwah, mwah. And on the second one, I say, listen, all right? I know we've got to get these people out safely. Darling, I shan't need that megaphone. No, la voce is enough.
She'll take a step back and she'll take a moment to process what you say.
Darlings, well, I know that you've come here for just a spot of entertainment, so I shall give you a little soupçon of what we shall have tonight, and then, darlings, you must run home, okay? Because these rather large machines have instructed that it must be so, and we want to keep everybody fresh for tonight, don't we? Yes, I'm sure we do. Can I charm an entire audience at once?
You can definitely try. Please flip a bewitch check as you attempt to enchant the audience with your very very sultry words. While she is doing that, Professor Scarpati, what are you doing amidst the crowd, adjacent to, of course, Edward and Ludovica?
I would assume that I would have followed to the front of the stage, so I'm standing at the stairs, looking at the crowd, and right now I'm just waiting for the prima donna to make her move and prepare myself for the occasion that she might not be as effective as she might think she is, so that I can jump in and be persuasive in my ways.
Very well. You remain observant and vigilant of the crowd and its going-ons. Ludovica, what are you doing?
Ludovica is looking around and trying to find the best exit road to just maybe step backward slowly and to settle away from this stop.
Okay. Sorry, just to add, I would like to keep an eye out for troublemakers.
All right. Looking around, you can kind of see, in terms of like both escape route and troublemakers, you can see that there are a couple of the people that were on the stage whispering to the woman who was addressing the crowd. Very quickly, some of them have begun to talk and spread word around the crowd, and slowly but surely, people have started to move away from the stage area. It's taking a little bit of time, but by about the 5th minute, the crowd has gone from being this mass of people to maybe about a dozen or so remaining. You, however, Mr. Scarpati, notice that Billum is nowhere to be seen.
Ah, my sneaky friend already got his exit. Well, clever played, young fellow. Nice one.
Michael, does it look like this is not necessarily going to make the evening print run of the newspaper because it's no longer a major event, but is now turning out to be a rather minor little event?
Actually, yes, that's precisely what you feel like it has become. There might be something in the rag about, guild, sort of managing to put down civil unrest, usual propaganda-ish sort of stuff, but nothing particularly about the festivities as they were, or the opera.
Can I see Ludovica?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will make my way to Ludwika, if that's all right, and then I will have a word with her.
You may do so. Ludwika, you are approached, of course, by the... Yes, Ghost.
Sorry. Whilst the prima donna is doing a spectacular job of exactly what it is that she should be doing, how much money would it take for you to shoot her?
Excuse me.
This is not going to make the newspapers, my dear. The entire purpose of this venture is to raise awareness about the difficulty that the government is imposing upon the people and preventing productions from happening. If it doesn't even make the front page of the newspaper, no one's going to read about it or care. But if you shoot her, you're a pretty good shot, I assume. I mean, you're a dead-eye.
What are you implying, sir?
Nothing at all. Just shoot her in the shoulder or somewhere where it's not going to... No, that's near the lung. The leg would be perfect.
The leg.
Yes.
Have you ever been severely hurt or maybe even shot in your life?
Well, my mother had some pretty scathing words when I was younger, but that's probably about it, actually.
I don't think you realize just how devastating it can be and how long it might take to heal. Are you really sure that...
Well, that's why I wanted an expert to shoot her.
I can try and graze her, and you prepare papers in which you vow very solemnly that this was your idea.
It was an idea. How about
Yours. And please don't use just your name, but the description of who you are. Otherwise, she might not know who you are.
I have no idea what you might mean. Might I also just point out that you're quite ravishing when you're being all domineering. And anyway, I'll prepare the papers. You just shoot.
Yes, you may.
Oh, you look quite ravishing when you were being domineering. Right, I'll prepare the papers. Just shoot her.
Then I'll prepare the shot. I think I'll wait for a dramatic moment. And I do it from, I think, over there. Ludovica grabs her purse and tries to find a place where she both has a good line of sight to the stage and the prima donna, and also is not maybe directly in the line of sight of everyone else and can leave quickly.
All right, you gaze around the crowd and try to find a good vantage point. As you do so, you absolutely manage to find a small and quiet location. Despite there being very few people here, there are, of course, plenty of sort of scaffolds and other small risers that one could place themselves behind in order to conceal a shot. You take your aim very, very carefully and line up to graze Miss Fiddlewick. Now, for this particular attack, you will need to make me a pistol attack. And if you want to do it subtly so that you aren't caught, you will also need to make me a stealth flip as well.
Ooh, which one do you want to have first?
Let's see. Now, for those of you in the game room board at the moment, we've just had a bit of a problem and partially crashed on Tabletop Simulator. So I've reset the deck. For that, everyone will get to draw a new hand and a new card.
Yes, I drew a new hand, and I'm very, very sorry, Janet. It's not as good as the last one.
I'm also going to apologize to Eddie, who has just spent the last few minutes getting everyone's hands sorted out. Sorry, Eddie. All right. So let's start with a stealth check first, if you would be so kind.
Yes, of course. Wow. That's a 7 plus 3, 10.
All right, 7 plus 3 is indeed a 10. As you manage to find a nice and quite secluded space, no one seems to pay you any mind. There is no one who seems to be paying attention to you. Not while, of course, the prima donna is speaking, and her words, like honey, are poured as a gift to the masses. No one has noticed your motions around. Next, we will go with our pistol attack.
Yes, I would suggest that I make the flip, and then I will wait for a point in Janet's speech or in Hortensia's speech that is sufficiently dramatic.
All right.
Flip.
Well, that's pretty good. That is a 9 of rams on the card.
That's also a 10. I've got a joker on my hand, but I think it's a black one. That's not good, right?
You shouldn't have a joker in your hand.
Then what is this?
Oh, that's an 11.
Oh, then I'm going to cheat with an 11. I want to be on the safe side. Yes, I know it's my card. I need to get it back.
That's okay. Very well. With an 11, the bullet fires at a dramatic moment. Hortensia, you begin to calm the crowd. You feel as though you're about to reach the climax of your point. That art, of course, is life, and that if we are stopped from being able to do this, then what is life worth? What value does? All of a sudden, a bullet flies and grazes your arm. The sort of sash on one shoulder is cut loose as it just grazes the skin. As you sort of clutch the wound, you sort of forced backwards. What do you do? What's your reaction?
Well, I'm looking for who shot me. So I immediately crouch down and I'm looking around to see who shot me.
You can make a notice check to attempt to locate the dastardly swine that shot you.
I will do that. Also, I'm so terribly glad that Steam crashed because now I have a much better hand than I had before. It was truly dreadful before, but now it is not quite so terrible. That, however, that is not wonderful.
All right, well, that is a 2 is what that is. You can cheat if you wish to, but, obviously, it is entirely up to you as to whether or not you wish to.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to decide.
Sorry?
No, I shall not. I shall not cheat. I shall look confused into the audience saying, who would do such a thing? As
the audience as the audience looks around, they're trying to figure out who it happens to be. The people begin to scatter and move around. Edward, you usher the professor into a small alleyway in the same
I'm trying
direction.
to usher him up onto stage. I want to be on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be running on the stage the second I heard the shot, and I would also look around to see who shot.
Professor, what on earth is happening?
Oh, come here! I need to get you off the stage. You're too much disposed here. Let's get you off here. I'm here for your protection, and I will do my best to secure you. Please follow me. And I will, like, in a protective stance, will try to help the prima donna down the stairs.
All right, it's kind of like a scene from The Bodyguard. You've got your body sort of slumped over, like no more pictures. You know, like as you're pulling the prima donna to safety. As you do so, Ludovica, you have made your way away from the protest, and as you do, a figure steps in front of where you happen to be. A rather interesting-looking man, bespectacled, with a very long cloak that seems to conceal one of his arms. You hear the sounds of whirring and buzzing, almost like a mechanoid or a construct beneath his robes. As he sees you, he takes off his top hat, and he says, "Madam, I must admit, that was quite a spectacular shot."
One, I have no idea what you're talking about, and two, thank you. Still, I would not try and stop me on my ways right now. I'm not in a good mood.
Oh, far be it, my lady. In fact, I was here to propose a hasty getaway. My car. He gestures over to what appears to be a Volkswagen in a very, very early model, prepared with what looks to be a butler of some kind, a very, sort of a, kind of very well-dressed individual who seems to be wearing a driver's hat, holding the door open.
You wouldn't be one of those men who take advantage of little ladies that they take away in their cars or carriages?
Ha, no, not quite. Allow me to introduce myself. Nolan Trelawney, at your service, ma'am. And I believe you've been expecting me.
I have been. Very good to meet you. And also, you're lucky because I'm one of the little women who like to carry pistols and are crack shot.
Well, in that case, you might need to watch out, for those women are my type. He smiles and, shall we? As he gestures for the car. Of course, as the right gentleman does, he allows you to enter the car first before joining you as well. He says, Hubert, could you ensure that transportation is secured for the others as well? We'll meet at the Swan View.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir.
As he closes the door, a younger, very tinier rider sort of jumps into the driver's seat. As he looks back, Ludovica, you recognize kind of the back of the head of this particularly small driver, mostly because his head is green. As he turns over his shoulder, he says, "It is you. It is I, LaRouche. Do not worry. You are in safe hands." And all of a sudden, there's this spinning of tire and the smell of rubber as you just careen suddenly down the streets of London.
Ludovica grabs something.
You grab onto the side of the carriage as it pulls you away. You're kind of hanging on for dear life. Meanwhile, in the middle of the on the stage, you've sort of made your way off stage, as it were. Professor Scarpati, where do you take the prima donna?
Looking around, is there an alleyway that looks A, safe for passage, and B, a little bit protected from people who would shoot from the center place itself?
Yes, looking nearby, you can actually see that there are a number of stalls and marketplaces that have been erected in the middle of the street. This particular area of town is usually a farmer's market and the like. However, people obviously have stopped in order to go and attend the protest. There are plenty of places to get cover if you made your way down the marketer's alley. However, as you begin to make your way, the voice of the riot breakers pierces the din.
Halt! You are wanted for questioning in association with an assault that has taken place.
Oh, crap. Well, we have been the ones who've been assaulted, so how about we come over to your place and answer your questions tomorrow? I need to take care of the prima donna right now. As you see, she is wounded, so questions can wait until she had her medical attention needed.
Yes, indeed.
Medical attention can be
dress is
provided.
wounded.
You watch as the riot breaker's chest opens up a little bit, and there's a tiny little green box with a little plus sign on it. With it's a very tiny little med kit. and its big construct arms are almost too big to kind of grab it, but it sort of holds it between two fingers very delicately.
Yeah, I will stop him and I will say, "What's your designation?"
Designation 437698.
It'll carry on like this for a
Well, I
while.
will just call you 8 then. 8, have you ever treated a prima donna?
Clarification required. Prima donna is human.
Well, have you ever treated a human prima donna that can sing very good?
This unit has been fully trained in the operation of medical services, providing gun wounds, stab wounds, blunt force trauma, and other forms of physical injury.
Well, you see, losing a voice is very delicate for a prima donna. And as you see, there is not only the gun wound, but the possible trauma that might affect her. So I need to take her to her personal doctor who has been attending her for years now, and not some metal thing with a box that might cure or stitch up gun wounds.
I
You
attempt
hear
to
a-
look traumatized.
You hear an audible as you can flip me a convince check to try and convince the riot breaker that, of course, its services are not required and that you should not be called in for questioning. That is a 7 of crows.
It's a
Can I
7 of
assist
crows.
somehow?
I think I will go with that. Convince is yeah.
Intelligence.
Can she, because can the prima donna assist me, because she's looking very traumatized right now?
How many ranks does the prima donna have in convince?
I have 2 ranks in deceive.
Well, unless you change it to a deception very quickly, then the prima donna's assistance will not help you. However, anyone who has ranks in convince may give those ranks to you in order to aid you in your endeavor.
I do have 2 ranks in convince, although with my intelligence it does change, it drops. So I have 2 ranks in it, but I only actually have a +1.
Well, actually, funny fact is that because you're assisting, your intelligence is not even remotely get counted for. So, Professor Scarpati, you get a +2 because, despite his intellectual hurdles, you actually get quite a lot of material to be able to convince this robot and speak in bureaucracy.
So adding his rank would put me to a 9, because I don't have convince as a skill, but it's intellect based, right? So that would be a
correct.
0. So that's
Well,
9.
Well, with a 9, you just managed to pass this check. As the robot, sort of seals away its first aid kit, it then turns to you and says,
Very well. If this is what needs to be attended to, then after medical procedures, we shall find her at the hospice of her choice. Where can we find the prima donna?
Well, you just said at the hospice of her choice, which will be at her home.
Affirmative.
as
What
the
does
riot
rest of the
breaker.
crowd do?
Oh, yeah. Well, the rest of the crowd, was sort of like trying to flee when the gunshot happened. The few that remained are chased off by the riot breakers, who basically turn around and basically start to, clear out the area.
Very well.
All right. Now, as you guys begin to make your way further from these guild guardsmen, you're approached by what looks to be an elderly gentleman. He seems to wear a driver's hat and approaches. Pardon the intrusion, sir. Mr. Giovanni Scarpati, I presume.
Yeah, it's John Scarpati. Thank you
John.
for butchering my name.
Apologies, sir. I am Herbert Schumacher. I am a manservant to Nolan Trelawney. He has sent me to fetch yourself and your compatriots for the designated gathering. Are these the ones who you will be in the company of?
Yes, I must say, you took your time. That could have been a lot earlier, and we could have avoided some bloodshed here if you would have made your job properly. But well, sure. Take me to Mr. Trelawney, and please have me bring my company.
Of course, sir. Right this way. He seems to walk into what appears to be a small phone box. As he sort of walks in, he stops at the console and looks over his shoulder at the both of you before and then puts what looks to be a gold coin into the actual machine. As it does so, you hear this hissing sound as the floor of the phone booth descends to a staircase below the streets.
How
Right
curious.
this way, sir.
Such show-offs. Yeah, I will step inside.
Very well. Making haste, you make your way down the flight of stairs into the dark passageway beneath the streets. It is not the sewer, nor is it the subway. It appears to be some kind of smuggling tunnel built ages ago in a time long since past, and leads you down towards what appears to be a sled of some kind attached to a very small, very smooth area of stonework and masonry. The shell of the train itself is smooth and metallic, with what appears to be some soulstone engine attached to the rear.
Prima donna, are you all right?
Oh, it's a darling thing to ask. Yes, I'm quite all right. Certainly not the first time I've been shot. I mean, yes, of course I'm fine. My dress, on the other hand, needs the desperate attention of a tailor. Yes, and yourself, Montague, did you see who shot me?
No, I'm afraid I didn't see who shot you. I have a document you should probably read later on. But I think as long as you're fine, that's all right. We must make sure that the Times gets the full breakdown of the details. What was the name of that individual who's your publicist? Is it Hugh? I think his name was Hugh.
Oh, who can
Jeremiah.
recall?
Jeremiah. Yes, we should get an
I know
urgent
how to
communicator
summon
to
him. Isn't that enough?
Well, yes, we should communicate with him that he should report that you're in a grave situation and may not recover fully from this
No,
assault.
not too grave. I don't wish to alarm my fans. Of course, darling, there are people who take this so terribly seriously. I should hate to make them think that their life was no longer worth living because my gift of music was removed from the world. It would be irresponsible. Be that as it may, where on earth are we?
Well, I might
Professor?
have some clues to that. Remember that I told you that I'm about to meet a Mr. Trelawney here on the marketplace.
Indeed.
Well, that fellow here, he seems to be one of his, assistants, and he's going to bring us to him. Now, Mr. Montague, and I put my hand on his shoulder and said, Edward, I know that we had our chits and chats, and I'm joking, but in this case, you are my law attorney as well, and I would like you to keep a good eye and both ears open because I don't really trust the people we're meeting, and I want to make sure that they're not, fooling us or playing tricks with us.
Might I inquire, firstly, let me say I'm so deeply gratified that you remembered my name, sir. It's been quite some many years since you actually got it right. But anyway, the point of the matter is, what exactly are you meeting him for?
Not sure if I'm allowed to tell you a lot about that. It has been
we do have an NDA in effect, sir, and it is valid until 2020.
Yes, indeed. Patient nonsense. Let's not stand on ceremony. Just tell us what's going on.
So I have been part of an secret society. They're calling themselves the Avalon Society. And
Yes. The
I
worst
tried
kept secret in London.
Yeah, well, but they have phone booths that can descend into the floor, so pretty cool. However, I found my way out of that society, and now they are getting back to me, and they want me to, I don't know, they're going to tell us what they're asking for.
Oh, darling, I'm
and I
being
would-
hired for another season. That's wonderful.
Well, in that case, I would prefer not to be hired. You see, as you look at me, this is my final season in this world, and I would like to have it peacefully and not so exciting. So, well, you can't say no to them. Let's find out what they want.
Does anyone know where Ludwika is? I fear I may have been somewhat responsible for her disappearance. Did anyone see where she went?
For her what?
Yes,
Sorry.
sir.
Yeah,
Your Madam Ludovica is with the master at present. We will be conjoining them at the same time as we arrive at the Windsor, sir. The hotel, not the palace.
I was going to ask. We've heard.
Yes, Michael technically forgot that Windsor was a palace as well as a hotel where you're from. So yeah. As you step into the strange contraption, very similar to a those little messenger pipes that propel themselves by wind, you are too propelled through this air tube until eventually you come to a stop in a very, very small looking lobby. You emerge from what appears to be a coat room that is gilded and beautifully decorated with ancient and very, very old looking architecture from the finest wood carvers known to man. As you are guided and taken to a penthouse suite, whereupon which you find Ludovica enjoying. What would Ludovica enjoy in regards to? Assume that the gentleman has offered you something to wait with, be it a drink or some food or whichever.
Oh, she doesn't have any need of food, but sometimes she likes a hot tea with a shot of rum. The hot tea to feel warm and the rum to disinfect.
Then that is what you are provided. As you enter, you can see that she is in fact absolutely enjoying a cup of hot tea with a spot of rum mixed in.
Oh,
Darling, it seems like an age. Where on earth have you been? I run over to her and grab her in my arms and go, mwah, mwah.
in a very, very nice Volkswagen. Montegrave hug? No, that's not right. How, Edward?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, do you have the papers?
I do indeed have the papers for you, madam.
Oh, thank you very much. She grabs the paper. And hands it over to the prima donna. It was not my idea.
Just bear in mind, prima donna, when you're reading this, it was for the headline.
I turn on Hargrave Montague.
Oh, you didn't tell her.
I look at Ludovica. I look at Montague, and I go, and I'll move the microphone back a long way for this. Never again. Do you understand me? Never again. I utterly lost my composure on the stage. It was not acceptable. This shall not happen again. Do you understand me, Montague?
Yes, prima donna. But the Times, you'll be front page.
Yes, and the Times will not be very good if my darling Ludovica had missed because a gust of wind shot the bullet from my shoulder into my throat and I never sung again.
To be honest, there was not much wind, and you do know I have steady hands, no heartbeat.
I am not angry with. I point to Ludovica. You, I point to Montague. We shall have words. But for now, I see that you have a delightful drink, and I think I would love one too. Maybe skip the tea though. Yes.
Well,
yes,
as indeed you are feeling a certain level of parched as you have belted your expressive and rather violent rage towards Edward, standing or at least approaching from the kitchenette is of course the one-armed individual who seems to be carrying a tray with a series of shattered porcelain cups and spilled tea. He stops for a moment. He says, "Oh, beg your pardon. I was hoping to have something prepared, but if you would be so kind, Herbert, just another round of tea and coffee, yes?" "Of course, sir. Right away, sir." As he poddles off. Now, as he
I
dusts
think we
himself,
need something stronger, if you wouldn't mind.
For the lady, please. Yes, sir. As he dusts himself off, you notice that he moves his jacket off one of his shoulders in order to get the stains off of him, and one of his arms appears to be entirely pneumatic, pistons and cables and the like. Professor, you remember the Norland Trelawney back when he was a lot younger, and of course was complete. The arm is quite new. He says, "Thank you so much for attending to me. Of course, Miss Ludovica, as we have discussed, your arrangements have already been made as per the requirements of Albus von Stuck. He has, of course, secured your passage out of the city, but Professor, it's wonderful to see you, and I'm afraid I've got some terrible news. You may want to sit down for this."
I think I'm fine standing. Just keep going.
Wait, if I might interject, actually.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry, I did not see you there. My apologies. Allow me to introduce myself. Norland Trelawney, sir.
I know who you are. I'm just the barrister in this. You don't have to even address me, as a matter of fact. I just wanted to make sure that whatever information it is that you're about to impart upon my clients, that it is of a nature that might not in any way, form, or shape incriminate them in any kind of activities that are illegal in the state of the Kingdom of England, or have ever been, or forever will be. Just to make absolutely certain that none of that is about to happen.
No, my, no, of course not, Any information discussed within the society itself is far removed from any kind of incrimination by the king and crown. Of course, any discussions that were made with the information provided or attained by the society themselves, we just have to kill people who share information like that. But it's par for the course, secret spy government things and all that. But don't worry about yourselves, for I think coming very soon will be a removal of much of these cloak and daggers that we seem to shroud ourselves in. As I was discussing earlier, things are not well in London. I'm sure all of you are now aware of the great burning man in the sky, the presence of this esoteric creature that has bathed London in a superfluous light of evil energy.
I'm terribly sorry. Burning man? You mean that pretty little shooting star?
It's a creature.
He goes to the window, and as he opens it, you can see that he's set up what appears to be a very unique-looking telescope. While a telescope will allow light to pass in and through, be magnified, and provide vision, this does the same thing, but harnesses darkness through a special lens that has been created and fabricated. He says, "Madam, you may, by all means, please."
Thank you. I take a look.
As you do so, your heart stops for a moment, as what you see hanging in the air above London is not a star at all, but what appears to be the silhouette, quite clearly, of a man, screaming in eternal agony, surrounded by a ring of fire, his eyes hollow and his mouth burning agape. The energies that swell and burn within him crackle across the dark visage like veins beating with a heart. There is life in the star.
Good Lord, you must all take a look at this. This is extraordinary.
Has anyone ever tried to shoot that poor fellow?
Well, the society, along with the government, has sent dirigibles. We've launched cannon fire at them from the ground. If we can't reach it, we've found that any munitions launched at it turned cinders within proximity of the creature. Or whatever we seem to do, there is no effect, and its strength grows by the day.
Proximity. How far away is this, and how big is this person?
Alas, we do not know. Given his shape, we assume that he is simply the size of a regular human being. The proportions seem to allude to this. However,
Yes, but is assuming safe with a creature such as this?
No. But what we do know is that the guild knew of this thing before we did. They knew of its nature, but they have been incredibly tight-lipped about the whole matter. And I don't know about you, but we, as the Avalon Society, can't really call ourselves very good spies if we didn't have an insider in the guild to be able to share some insight into how to prepare for the coming days. Well, our insider has returned and has told us one very clear thing. The power is reaching its apex tonight. And there will likely be the beginning of a catastrophe of an untold magnitude.
A moment, you spoke of the power growing. What is this power of which you speak? Where is the evidence? What is happening?
Some call this energy magic. And Earth itself has dwindled in such energies for quite some time. I myself am a man of science and have been so for many years. While I accept the energies as they are, maybe eldritch or arcane in nature, they still follow the same laws of physics that commands all reality. The growth here is unmeasurable. It is undirected. It is unheard of. There are some who even claim a religious or divine influence here, but that is not practical. What is practical is making sure that the people are as prepared as we can, and that those of noteworthy nature are secured and well looked after. Now, Mr. Scarpati, you have been a valuable member of the society for years, and you, of course, as my mentor, are high on my list of people I would like to get out. But the society has, at least as far as they've told me, owed you no favors since your service. I have fought tooth and nail for this chance, but they have asked for your assistance in one final task. There is an individual who we believe may have knowledge, or at least some sort of connection to this event that may occur. If you can seek out this person, find out what you can, and return with information, then we can have you and your friends evacuated.
Well, certainly I could. Question is, though, why are you sending the old man when you have so many young agents there?
The sad truth is we don't. We were once a formidable organization, but over the years since the rise of the guild, our numbers are dwindling. To operate in secrecy is now incredibly difficult and, well, very expensive. We have many financiers, such as, of course, Miss Fiddlewick, who have provided us with a number of resources, but with this new threat looming, I'm afraid the Avalon Society has chosen to leave London and establish new bases of operation elsewhere, leaving us with very few people here willing to take the time to research when whatever is going to happen is so close at hand.
All right, so you're asking me to find that guy and what? Retrieve information.
He hands at this point a newspaper across to each of you, along with Herbert and his variety of teas, liqueurs, scotches, and alcohol that gets placed out in front of you. He pours your preferred drink for you as you begin to read the newspaper. At the top, of course, are a number of notable events. The River Thames reaches boiling points, fishes washed up, cooked all the way through. Lights seen in the sky above Big Ben, flashes. People saying that they're seeing relatives from across time and space. Lots of things that you would consider to be garbage rags, things like sensationalist headlines and stuff like that. He points to the bottom of the page where one very, very obscure looking demon in shadows appears. And it simply says, Spring-Heeled Jack attacks again.
Oh.
This individual, Spring-Heeled Jack, has been attacking since before the creature, the burning man, appeared in the skies above London. We believe that maybe he was a herald or progenitor to the events that have occurred. However, his nature has allowed him to elude us for the time being. While the tabloids have him displayed as some sort of manic, monstrous creature, we believe that this is an intelligent, thinking, and potentially cooperative creature. Most likely a human with powers gained from traveling through the breach. If you can find this individual and learn what they know, perhaps we can at least make some effort to try and stop what is happening.
All right. So what's in for me?
We will ensure that yourself and the others are evacuated from London, along with the final remnants of the Avalon Society.
What
I
about
was
my belongings?
Of course, Miss Ludovica, you already have passage. This has been provided as well. If this is something you wish to do, I'm afraid Mr. Scarpati and yourself would have to arrange fair trade. Though, look, as a personal favor, Mr. Scarpati, I'm more than happy to leave you with a coffer of funds that was supposed to be for myself, but I have no need of it, as my evacuation is imminent. I can only do what I can to help you. He reaches into his wallet and he basically pulls out what is effectively 50 script, which is the equivalent of about close to $1,000 in today's currency, like for how much he's sort of just forked over.
which of our currencies?
American currencies.
Okay.
None of our currencies. So, American dollars. Yeah, that's right. It's 1,000 American bucks. So, that's what he places out in front of you. He says, I know it isn't much, but...
Yeah, I would take it and turn around to the rest and I would say, what do you think? Do we want to go on a little hunt?
So, let me get this right. You want this dear old man and my eminent self and this creature, she says, looking at Montague, I haven't forgiven you yet, and my darling Ludovica, to go hunt a monster in London whilst a burning man is falling on the earth and about to cause a cataclysm. Is that correct? Do I understand you?
Well, I would simply say that, yes, in its entirety. I don't beat around the bush, prima donna. I do not find this arrangement fair on any of you at all. But it was indeed the only arrangement that I could convince the society to take in order to help you. I would really wish I could have done more. I am still kicking myself that these old fogey, he says, looking at Professor Scarpati, these people in charge were doing nothing to help the people who had helped them, especially one so decorated as Mr. Scarpati, or people who have indeed helped the society over many years through other contributions, such as yourself. It was appalling to me, and I refused to leave the city until they agreed to such things, which they have done so very recently.
Well, if I know the society, I beg your pardon, Montague. I was going to say, if I know the society, I know that they've cornered all the ways out of London. And if we wish to leave London at this stage, it will only be through the society. So I suppose we don't have much choice. But what were you going to say?
Before we agree to anything, I would propose perhaps that Mr. Trelawney, if we might be given the room, as it were, so that my colleagues might confer amongst themselves. It would expedite matters significantly.
Of course, I completely understand. Take all the time you need. I will be preparing for myself in the room adjacent. If you wish to proceed, do call me back in. He stands up and he bows once more before asking Hubert to assist him, who then also leaves into an adjacent room. They close this very heavy set door, which is also functions as a wall, basically, between your two rooms.
There are quite a few revelations that have been brought to light this very interesting meeting, purely from a representational perspective. And from a legal perspective, of course, there are many opportunities for us here. Now, I think I can speak for all of us when I emphatically will state that, well, Lady Molenbeek, you have a way secured out of the city.
Yes, my
Were you
employer has
aware?
made sure of that.
So you were aware of a cataclysmic event pending,
Me? No, I was not. My employer might have been.
and he was the one who orchestrated your departure.
Correct.
I see. And prima donna, with all of the greatest respect for your career, and you've been funding a secret society.
Well, you know, when you are a person of note, which of course you, Montague, would know nothing about,
No,
certain petitions come your way. As money comes in, one thinks, oh, what shall I do with all this? Banks are such a faff these days. And so I thought it looked as well as any other. I mean, I fund the Battersea Cats Home, several orphanages in the city. I thought, secret society, why not? I was curious. What can I say? And they throw terribly good galas.
Ah, well, that explains things. And then finally, Professor Scarpati, this individual was your student?
Well, I took him under my wings for some time, showing him the ways of the society before I decided to take my exit.
Is he trustworthy?
Well, he was always ambitious, I would say, and I was always happy with the way he grew in the society and in the ranks. So I would say yes, as far as you can throw a rock, Edward, that's how far I would trust him.
As far as
I don't think. Oh, yes, that's very important.
Pardon me?
As
far as Edward
go ahead.
Can throw a rock. Yes.
A rock.
Well, it's not. Yes, I prefer to stay under them rather than throw them.
Yes. How appropriate.
It does strike me that there's an opportunity here for all of us to significantly raise our status. There's an individual in the sky who is clearly in pain, which I think indicates they're not wanting to be there. If we were to perhaps rescue them from that situation, using the information that we found, it could be quite lucrative for all of us, as a matter of fact. Think of the headline, Prima Donna. Prima Donna saves London. Professor Scarpati no longer forgotten about. And the dead save the living. It's quite a quite a lucrative headline.
Now, my concern is in raising our status, we may change our status from alive people to dead people, present company accepted, Ludovica. I have no issue with being dead and mobile, but being dead and, well, dead does not sound fun. What can we say? I believe the best way is to get ourselves out of London as expediently as possible. After all, it is very hard to sing when one is buried 6 feet under. But Ludovica, you were about to say something. What was that?
Oh, I was about to say I didn't like to have my profile raised. My profile is fine as it is.
Professor, you at least must understand that fading away into obscurity is a fate worse than anything that one might describe to being living or dead, surely.
And who would know about that?
Well,
I
let's
seek to
let's
raise
stay.
your profiles, not my own. I'm Professor.
I would prefer to stay practical here, and that means if London is going to fall and burn, the society is offering us a good way out before we are burned to cinder and ashes here. Rescuing him, fine. Having an opportunity there, great. Having the prima donna on the newspapers, absolutely, absolutely fantastic. But right now, let's, well, think about how to save our, well, selves first.
Professore Scarpati, I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. So yes, so I think we're on an agreement here. We're going to take this job offer here and start the hunt. Get this, I forgot the name. What was it called?
Spring
John
Hills
the-
Jack, I believe.
Oh, Jack, Spring Hill Jack. We need to seek that creature out and well, interrogate it. I didn't catch it. Do they want us to return it or just talk to it?
I believe they require certain informations from it, but how about you do the capturing and I'll do the interrogation. That's more where I shine, of course.
That sounds absolutely a good way to go.
Indeed.
That
Now,
is-
Montague is neither here nor there because he had me shot. But Ludovica, darling, won't you stay and join us?
You know that I was the one doing the shooting.
Yes, I know, but darling, he persuaded you with those infernal pieces of paper of his.
No. To be honest, it didn't take that much persuading.
Oh, really?
Yes, he said it was a good idea to further your career, and I know that it's important to you.
But you shot me! You shot me!
It's a graze.
Okay, how about we make a deal, my darling? You don't do anything Montague says ever again, and we should be wonderful friends. You let me worry about my career, and then I shall love you forever. How about that?
More importantly, I was planning to leave London tonight.
I
And
know.
I'm still not entirely sure why I should not.
Well,
I don't know if you've ever met my employer, but he's not very lenient when it comes to
you know,
tardiness.
you're always so secretive about him. Why don't you tell us a little bit more?
Oh, he likes to chop up corpses and sew them back together with steam engines to sell them to the highest bidders.
Oh, what a curious hobby.
It's less of a hobby and more of a specialized trade.
Is it
Yes.
profitable?
Very.
And as far as I recall, he booked your passage out with the society. So the society was the one who bought you all the tickets out.
He booked with Mr. Trelawney. I don't know whether he booked it with Mr. Trelawney in his function as one of the errant boys of the society or with him just as a private smuggler.
Well, just
Actually,
to let
at this
you know,
point, sorry, interrupting you at this point, the door opens. At this point, the Hubert says, Madam Ludovica, if you have a moment, there's a call outside on the telephone for you. He then sort of says, if you'll excuse me then, as he nods and closes the door once more.
Seems duty calls. And nature, apparently. How curious.
Curious indeed.
Are you going to take the call, madam?
Ludovica, darling,
Yes.
well,
Are
aren't you
you-
going to go take the call? Or are you not curious? Perhaps I'm curious enough for both of us.
I guess I must. They probably won't stop bothering us, right?
That tends to be how it goes.
We will pick this up right after.
Indeed, darling. There's enough champagne to keep me amused. See you in a moment.
Not too much, or you're going to be asleep on the ottoman. I will see you in a moment.
All right. Stepping out into the hall, you can see a long passageway that stretches out before you, before a small telephone box that's mounted to the wall. There, the phone sort of rattles on and off, as you can see, this very, very ornate-looking phone box.
Yes, this is die Freien von Drost zu Möllenbeck.
Guten Abend, my lady. This is the associate Ulva. You have been contacted by the Avalon Society. We have received word that your passage has been secured. Tell us, have you been told how you will be leaving the city?
I was told that I was going to leave on a ship tonight.
That is good. We have learned something rather unfortunate. It appears as though whatever is going to attack the city will be doing so from the canals themselves. We have asked for the society to arrange for alternative transport through the tunnels. Do you understand where these are?
No, I don't understand where those are because no one has told me yet.
There is a network of tunnels that the Avalon Society use in order to get around. You are to try and convince them to allow you to use those and not get on the ship. I repeat, do not use a vessel to leave London.
Well, thank you for the warning.
Welcome.
Is everything else safe?
We have received manifesto and word that your shipments have left and are already out of range of the city. They are on their way across to France, where they will be then transferred onto another ship headed for America. You have done excellent work, and the professor is very pleased. You will receive commendations when you arrive here in Santa Fe.
Na, immerhin etwas. Vielen Dank. And I think that's it, right? Wiederhören. Click.
Yeah. You then return to the gathering of people.
It seems like I might need a little bit of leverage to convince the society to take me out of London on a different route.
Oh. How do you mean? What on earth happened?
Oh, I've booked passage on a ship, but I've just been called by someone working for my employer that leaving on a ship is not safe because whatever is up there in the sky and whatever is coming in the near future is going to come from the canals and from the water too, which sounds like fun.
Sounds to me
Yes.
like they know an awful lot about what's about to happen to London for people who don't really know very much.
My employer knows a lot about eldritch powers and things going on in that kind of matter. I'm just the secretary. Don't bother me about the details. But Kite hin her, Gott Sakrament noch einmal.
Darling.
I guess I have to stay for a little bit and have to redeem the ticket.
Well, I'm terribly sorry that your plans have changed. That's always very frustrating, but I am thrilled that you'll be staying with us.
I also promise not to shoot you again without good reason.
What do you mean without good reason?
Now, for instance, imagine there's someone standing behind you using you as a living shield, and I could kill them by just piercing a tiny little bit of your flesh, shooting through your arm or something, nowhere near any arteries or other bits that you need to keep on living. Then I would take that shot.
I think this bears further discussion later.
Oh yes,
but
we can go into the details.
don't like-
Montavligla can set up something.
I
Yes.
certainly can set up a contract that states that all of us can only be shot in the instance of trying to save ourselves or our careers.
You be
Yeah.
quiet.
All right.
So, where's that Trelawney fellow? And where's the champagne? This
Well,
one appears to be empty. Somebody drank it.
As you ponder where the good professor and the assistant went, the door slides open and they reemerge. I trust that you've had a chance to discuss the proposition.
Yes. Yes, we had. And, well, it looks like we are going on a hunt for a jack that has springs in heels.
Yes, can you tell me more about what that means exactly? A spring-heeled jack. What does he bounce or something? Is he a man?
That is, well, kind of the mystery around him. Some say that in the middle of the night, in areas of London, in the darkest and most terrifying alleyways, a man dressed as a gentleman will approach and then viciously attack like some kind of devil with horns jutting out of their head, tails and fangs breathing fire after a vicious, nasty attack, which often leaves its victims torn to shreds. There's others who have said they've seen him jump to a tremendous height onto the roofs of the nearby buildings in order to make quick getaway from any policemen or witnesses. There are those who say that they look out their windows in the middle of the night and can see the figure jumping from building top to building top, not unlike a flea or a grasshopper.
Half man, half flea. How delightful.
Ew. Does he
Yes.
bite and suck your blood?
Well, some say that he is indeed part vampire and does indeed have a taste for blood. I, however, propose that he is simply a person in using either pneumatics or magic in order to try and achieve his feats of supernatural miracle. But that's just my position on it.
Indeed, or simply illusion. I mean, one can make things appear. I hold up my glass and make it look like there's a flower growing out of it. As one would like.
Of course.
There's nothing wrong with promoting one's mythos, even if one is a disgusting half flea man.
No.
Well,
of course not.
given the fact that we are on a tight schedule here, I'm sure the society will not leave us just running through streets looking for that individual, but give us a lead of where we could start our investigation.
Yes,
Of course.
very good.
These reports that I've given you in the newspaper are from today. There is, of course, a few locations where these attacks and sightings have occurred. They're not too far away from this location, which is why I brought you here, in hopes that you were indeed interested. A short distance away, you can find the Orphan Square. This is just outside the workhouses where many of the young workers there will often lunch. They're the ones who have claimed to have seen the creature last. To the south, there is an old woman by the name of Mrs. Ottoman. And Mrs. Ottoman has also claimed to have been the victim of an attack, although that was quite some time ago. Alternatively, as well, you can try the newspaper. The author itself on this and many similar incidences, it goes by the name of Harry Hargrave. An American fellow, I believe, who has currently joined the London tabloids.
Oh, interesting.
I am apparently a goblin.
I'm sorry? You're apparently a goblin?
I'm apparently a goblin. No,
Oh,
we have a new follower or subscriber or something, and yes, it was very very amusingly placed in my face. So I was a goblin.
Lovely.
Right. In that case, then, since we are taking this, I have drawn up some documentation as to effect that the amount of money being paid, that's £50,000, whatever it is.
Script, darling. Script. Come on,
the
that's
50
speaking of
scripts.
them.
The 50 scripts. Sorry, that is a prepayment simply to engage our services, and then subsequent to that, pursuant to the delivery or non-delivery of additional information as supplied by potentially eliciting some kind of response or non-response dependent upon the discovery of said incumbent, will result in our safe delivery out of London before said calamity takes place. Are you authorized to sign?
Well, I'm afraid there is no signing in the Avalon Society, but there is an exchange. The money itself is yours to do as you wish, with no caveats, no refund, no trace from where that money comes from. It is for you to be used as you would see fit. As for your evacuation, upon the completion of the evacuation, you are to use these. He reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out and presents you with what appears to be 5 signet rings, each bearing the insignia of the Avalon Society. These are magical signet rings, and they are capable of communications over vast distances, even through things like signal jamming and areas where technology seems to be failing. You simply attune it by wearing it for an hour, and from there on, any person whom you desire to contact may be contacted via these rings through audible communication.
Fascinating.
Right. Where is Billim? I don't want him to steal my ring.
Billum?
Professor, where is Billim?
Well, I think he might just, take the opportunity of the situation with a lot of people running around the streets, rather hectic. That is especially the place where you would find Billum right now, providing himself with the opportunity of pickpocketing whoever he can find. He will find back to us, I'm sure. Don't worry about him right now.
What charming companions you keep, Professor Scarpat.
And I thought we had agreed upon the term of finding items in other people's pockets which they're not using currently and so have been considered abandoned by owner, rather than the term pickpocketing.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm sorry. It was long-term. Pickpocketing is a lot shorter.
And if it's any consolation, the Society has always been open to the methods employed by its agents in order to achieve tasks. If this Billum, sorry, did you say his name was?
Yes.
If this Billum, of course, is under your guidance, I'm sure he has no better mentor. And you may, of course, take a ring for him as well when you do reunite. I wouldn't like to see that your compatriot be left behind either.
Thank you very much. That is appreciated. I will take his ring.
Since the clock is ticking, might I suggest, well, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I should go and speak with this Harry Hargrave from the tabloids. It could be quite technical terminology there. Professor, perhaps you should speak to Mrs. Ottoman.
I think
subject.
The prima donna speaking to Mrs. Ottoman would be a better fit, and I will take care of the orphan squad.
Yes, I don't want to scare the poor little dears. Mrs. Ottoman would be a much better fit for me.
Yes. Ludovica, do you want to join me on the orphan square?
Do you think that I will scare off the orphans?
I think that you and I will have a lovely cup of tea with Mrs. Ottoman.
Alternatively, you could come with me to the newspapers, and I can't.
No.
But
I really do not want the newspapers to report on undead German aristocrats running around London. It's not good for all of us.
Right, you are.
There might be several. It's a good place to be undead in.
It's true. There's so little sunshine.
Oh, yes. And you're also pale and pasty. It's hardly any different. Fine.
Noble,
okay, so the ladies will take care of the lady. the paper boy will take care of the paper boy, and I will deal with the young brats over at the Orphan Square.
Well, that's an option. I mean, the other option is that, as I have read in many great literary works, that it is upon the point when all individuals went in different directions that death soon occurred thereafter. We could go as a group to each of these locations, but I don't see that as being very timeless.
No, darling. What happens is we all split up, we all have our solo arias, and then we get back together for the group number. Don't you know anything about how stories work? Come on, darling. Let's get this done with so we can leave London before whatever happens is going to happen. Burning canals? I don't know. It all seems terribly uncouth for an Act 3. But come, let's go.
I have to admit that her forceful nature is swaying me to do what she says. Still, I like safety in numbers.
Well, how about that? Since the Orphan Square is close by, we could all go there and have a chat with those little kids. I love kids. And if that proves not a value to us, then we can split up and do the missus and the newspaper.
That sounds very smart, Ludovica. Oh, that's me. I'm sorry. I'm starting to confuse names just by looking at Hargrave. Hortensia.
Yes, well, that there is a small problem. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I am exceptionally well known, and if I were to appear in Orphan Square, I should
just take out the stupid wig and the dress, and no one would notice.
Wig? Do you say this is all my own hair? I will have you know, grown painstakingly since I was but knee high. Indeed, these luscious locks are all my own.
Well, yes, absolutely. Up until the part that it's somebody else's.
A large clock in the corner of the room begins to toll. It is 11 a.m. As the bell rings, resonating through the room.
We should hurry if we are to catch the newspapers before they go to print, so we can report on the death. I mean, on the tragedy of the attack this morning. If we're going to go to Orphan Square together, then we should go together.
Indeed,
Yeah,
one moment.
let's go.
She downs an entire glass of champagne.
Oh.
Yes, I believe I am ready. Let's go.
As you leave, of course, Nolan bows to you and wishes you well. Before you leave, Professor Scarpati, he sort of just for a moment, sort of unfurls the back of his robe to kind of reveal his good arm as he gives it out to you for a firm handshake. Professor, I wish you well, and I'm sorry I couldn't do more.
I think you've done enough, thank you. And if I can give you one last advice, it looks like the society is not well doing you any goods. When I look at your arm, try to find a good way to exit that society before you lose more of your limbs to their cause.
He sort of nods, recalling the flashback tale that I'm not going to tell you, but he remembers the incident that got him to lose his arm and nods in a silent agreement. You leave the Windsor Hotel as you make your way out into the street in each other's company. As mentioned, the workhouses are not too far away, and it is still, of course, the middle of the day. Many people are still at work. As you begin to make your way towards the directions given to you by Nolan. As you pass over a small bridge, crossing a sort of just over a very, very large roadway, you can see that there are people on this bridge who seem to be staring directly up at the figure in the sky. They don't seem very responsive, barely moving. As you continue through the city, more and more people around the city share that same almost fascination, frozen in place with an unbreakable gaze towards the this figure.
Are they bewitched in some way, do you think?
What the hell are they looking at?
It seems unhealthy. You shouldn't stare into something bright in the sky, I've been told, or
Uh,
you lose your eyes.
Edward, as you look at it, it does indeed burn your eyes a little as you feel a searing pain at the back of your skull.
I don't see much difference, but come on, Montague. Wave my hand in front of his eyes like this.
Right.
You
thank
currently snap to as you you feel your your faculties returning.
I slap him in the face.
Oh.
Snap out of it!
Yeah. Then Ludovica slaps you on the other side.
Quick, slap him again. I don't think he's fine yet.
Yes.
He's in hysterics.
Wait, what?
Slap him. He's in hysterics.
No, I'm not in hysterics. Stop hitting me.
All right. You make your way towards Orphan Square, the large workhouses that stretch outwards. This one is an iron smelting factory. The smog clouds rise up and choke the sky above. The only thing you can see over the cloud cover of the din is the very soft light of the Burning Man blooming and almost toxic color over this particular area. There, a number of children covered in soot and grime work toilously. Toilously? No, they work with toil. They have toil, much toil, as they work. Yes, they're toiled as they work with the heavy machines and the like. You notice that some of the kids also seem to have sort of missing limbs. Some have been replaced with very makeshift prosthetics, hooks and claws and stuff. And there is indeed a small gathering of young individuals who gather around talking about how bad work is and how they need to get more rest. These are the orphans you see in front of you. If I can get the collection of orphans up on screen.
Oh no, we're going to be attacked by orphans.
It is a
No, we're
wonderful
not.
display of
Whenever a
modern-day
miniature comes out, we get
progress.
attacked. I can only surmise we're going to be attacked by these orphans.
One of
Smell that
them-
fresh air, Professor. Oh, that's industry for you. Progress, and advancement. It's wonderful.
One of the young fellas looks over in your direction and goes, "Hey Dave, would you look at this one? Dressed up like a giant chopped up flower she is. Doesn't belong here, not one lick, I reckon."
Chopped up flower?
Wait. Who is going to lick whom?
I would
Well,
grab him
it's
by
just,
the
it's-
collar. The second I get close to him, I
Mhm.
would like grab him, pull him closer, and I would say, "Listen now, you want to earn some coins here, or do you want to earn some beating here?"
Oh, I don't know, Ducky. Because it looks to me like you're about to get your coin purse opened up. You take a moment to notice that he's got a knife dangling by the side of his hand, like in his fist, and the point of which is pointed right at your wedding tackle as you've lifted him up. He doesn't resist your grapple or anything like that, but you're kind of getting the vibe that this kid's kind of used to being picked
Yeah.
up, bashed around, and stuff like that. So he stands there, kind of staring at you.
It seems like the orphans are not in danger of being scared.
No, they don't appear terrified, do they?
We should run.
No. That's haggling. You're doing a good job, young fella. What's your name?
My name? Jack.
Mhm. Well, Spring Heel. That was easy.
They look at each other and they're like, "We don't know what you're talking about."
I would kind of like a magic trick. I would like to just produce a coin in my hand, and I would say, "Again, you can earn this rather quickly, or you can put up a fight. All we want is some answers."
All right, make a barter challenge as you are attempting to haggle with this individual. Everyone else, if you wish to, you may make a notice check as you
Ooh, nice.
as you kind of as you kind of keep an eye on the things as they unfold.
What is Barter's cunning?
Barter is cunning. Well, what's that one?
Yeah, that's a 12 then.
A 12. Oh, I see someone got a red joker.
Oh,
That is red joker? Is it not a black joker?
Oh no, that's a 13.
Ah.
I
This one
feel
is a
like
red
I feel
joker.
like Edward got the red
It's
joker.
me.
Right. Oh, someone's got lucky. I don't know who got lucky. Who's this Edward fellow?
That wasn't exactly. All right. So with your bartering challenge, it looks like they're about to kind of buy into to what you're saying. They're looking and nodding. The rest of you, anyone who got over a 10, notice the fog that slowly seems to creep in from the workhouse. Now, it looks almost like smoke to begin with, but it hangs too well to the ground. It coalesces and doesn't dissipate as fog usually does. In fact, it seems to snake almost like tendrils towards the group. And Edward, you can see a small boy crawling out of the ground, almost as if the ground were like mud or a puddle or some filth that is slowly crawling out of as the smog sort of falls off his shoulders.
Frau Mullenbeck, the well-hung fog is disgorging children from the. Just look over there.
What?
Turning in that direction, you don't see anything but the fog. Scarpati, you kind of reached an arrangement. He says, "All right, I'll tell you what I know, lad." As you can hear the commotion coming from the others behind you.
Okay. Well, I will, holding him up, still holding the coin in my hand, I will very carefully, because keeping him in one of my eye corners, I will turn the head to just look over what's happening there. Noticing. Is that your doing? Call him back.
You watch the child drops the knife. He seems to be scared at something.
Oh shit. Well, in that case, I would drop the kid and pull my gun.
Yeah, okay. The kid immediately retreats backwards, as do some of the others. The shadowy figure begins to form and basically coalesces into a solid figure.
oh dear.
It was trying to sneak on you. It was not trying to sneak up on you, but doesn't quite do so. You see the following child emerge from the dark. Now, this looks just like any other orphan, but Ludovica, you recognize these eyes. These are not the eyes of a living child, but the undead. This creature before you is what was known as the Stolen, a child victim of slavery from children who have been kidnapped, then locked away and forgotten about, suffering horrible deaths, their names impossible to know, and their eyes always portraying that same sadness and betrayal. The creature looks to you and says,
"So it's Jack you're after, then?"
Hey, Jack. Certainly.
Well, look no further, for I am the Jack of the Alley.
Well, that's the wrong Jack.
Wait,
We're looking
yes.
for the spring-heeled Jack.
That poser, he wishes he was half the monster I was. Now if you and your meat hooks are done attacking these friends of mine, I will show you out.
Oh,
He-
I understand. It's just like the opera house. You are the prima donna, and this other Jack Spring-Heeled Fellow has come and tried to take your rightful place as the top monster. Am I correct?
He is an imposter.
Exactly. He is some filthy person who has come to try to take your stage, and I understand that, darling. I do understand. And you might not know it, but I also I know a bit more than I look like about what you might have been through. So what if you and I had a little conversation, and then we could take this spring-heeled imposter out of your turf, so to speak? I mean, what do you think? Because I understand a turf as much as the next guy. Not that guy. I point at Montague. He's not the next guy. But look, we can do you a favor, right? We can do you a solid, and then seems to me you'd be better off, right? I use what am I doing?
right.
Bewitch. I'm bewitching him.
You may bewitch him. You may absolutely bewitch him because you are in the company of Ludovica. Now, Ludovica, are you still in disguise, as it were?
No, when the ghost child creeps up from the ground, she lifts her veil, and it's pretty obvious that she's not quite as normal as the rest of the group.
All right. You can flip 2 cards and take the highest, Janet, as he is more appealed because you are in the company of another undead.
In that case, I will take back my cheat fate, and I will flip a second card, which is also terrible.
Objection. Objection. The
wait.
prima donna is much better at this than she makes herself out to look like.
All right. So
Cheating all the way.
So before you cheat, Hargrave has opted to discard a card, and by doing so allows you to ignore that, and you can flip the whole duel again. So flip twice, take the highest again.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Oh crap!
This is
That's the whole deck. Ah!
This is a this is a product of the lawyer being actually a good lawyer at lawyering things.
What are all these pieces of crap cards that I'm getting?
All right, now you want to
Just
cheat.
my 11, please.
Very well, you can use your 11.
It's really, really nice of you to get all the crap cards out of the deck for us.
Yes,
It
yes,
is.
you're so welcome. Thank you, Montague, for interceding on my behalf. But I shall just cheat, and everything will be easier.
All right.
Now that's established. I bewitched the monster.
You absolutely bewitched them. You see that his the tendrily smoke begins to subside. He then calms down.
What do you say?
You know,
Yeah.
He's not even from around here. His voice shifts, and you can see he's little more than a child when the evil, spooky... It is quite literally smoke and mirrors. As he looks to you, and he says, "Didn't expect to see one of our kind running around in the streets of London. They're usually pretty quick at snatching up folk like us.
Huh.
The only reason I've been getting away for so long is because people don't recognize one kid from another."
That's really helpful. You know what? People in power are usually men, and they don't look at women that closely either if they're not attractive. So
Oh,
She's
there you
right.
go.
She's right. And otherwise, you play the long con, you know.
Well, it's
You
as
watch
well
his-
as your second class. I mean, it's all
You watch as
legally. I'm just saying that's why they don't. There's lack of restraint. It's completely unfair legal system. Absolutely agree. I agree. I'm not for it. I'm quite against it,
Montague?
actually. Yes, ma'am.
Shut up.
Yes.
thank you.
So he sort of reaches behind his ear and takes out a cigarette. This is the 1900s, okay? Don't judge. As he lights up and he takes a swig, he takes a puff. He then says, "So what are you looking for that other Jack for?"
Well, we have to get out of London, right? Because stuff's going down. And the only ways we can do that is by getting this, well, imposter you call him, idiot I call him, off the street. So we can get some information about him, about, Mr. Bernie in the sky up there.
Mr.
Yeah, don't
Ben,
look directly at it. It's not good for your eyes.
You watch as his sunken, ashen eyes glow red. He goes, I think I'll be right. But look, if you're looking to go and hold hands with him, then I've got nothing further to say to you. If you're looking at putting a stick to him, then well, maybe I can help you out a little.
Well, let's just say I want to smack him round the chopper and see what that gets us. How about that?
He looks at Ludovica.
What
What do
languages are you speaking all of a sudden?
What? Oh, sorry, darling. It's former life, you know.
Oh, yes, dear.
Look, I don't trust people with a heartbeat because, well, they're bastards and they lie. But you've got self-preservation in the same way that we do. These kids here that work these workhouses, no one knows their name. No one knows my name. It's why we get along so well. My job is to stay here and spook the adults away, so they're too afraid of some little gutter snipe they'll never be able to catch, stabbing them in the dark. I am that knife, okay? Now, if you lot are looking at making things worse by going and shaking that rattle nest's, you know, shaking his home up and then getting him all up in our business, then I've got nothing to help you with. So what is it you're really after?
I've just been told that this creature has information about what's going to happen. And I think we all can agree, heartbeat or not, that it's probably better if London keeps standing as she is. I must confess that I kind of fallen in love with the city, although I have to leave her. And I'd hate to see her in ruins, and that's probably what's going to happen. And no, we're not going to tell this Jack creature anything about who sent us or who told us where to find him. So, as we don't know who you are, I don't know your names or anything, how could we?
Well, unless you want us to, well, bring a message from you to him.
Tell him that this is Kruligan territory, and that if he shows his face here again, he's going to wish he was undead. What I can tell you is this. We don't know where he hangs out. He attacks everywhere. Relentless, no real pattern. A lot of work he does is in this area here. But there is someone who I notice has followed him around quite a bit. That's this this older lady, blonde hair, goes by Harriet something.
Ottoman.
Ottoman? No.
Harriet.
Harriet, yeah. A woman with a writes everything down. What do you call them? The righty people.
Journalist, perhaps?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, Hargrave.
I didn't get
Very
the last
good.
name. Yep. Anyway,
Harriet.
she's been following this bloke around and been asking all sorts of questions, but she's been asking around the tailor circuit, finding out about people who have bought particular types of hats or shirts. I don't know. But I think she said something about a disguise or people buying things that are fitted for a custom. He sort of makes booby gestures. No. The like a man suit, but with a bigger
Ooh.
bust. Yeah, that thing.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I think you hit it on the head, Professor.
Who's hitting who on the head?
Never mind.
Thank you very much, little lost one. May your limbs always stay attached.
Yeah, I guess is always keep your head in a swivel, but don't turn it around too much. As
I will.
he then sort of billows smoke and he goes,
Now leave before I change my mind and curse you something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sure.
and
See you, Jack.
he turns into smoke and billows away.
I will turn around, and while I turn around, I will just the coin that I still have in my hand, I will just drop it and walk along.
You
The
drop
coin.
some money, Professor.
On purpose, Montegrave, on purpose.
I watch. Do the kids pick it up?
They don't initially. They they sort of see it, and they're kind of more watching you guys.
No, leave it on the ground. I can see you.
If you're... I leave the money on the ground.
Nowhere to. The journalists?
Yeah, I got the feeling that Harry and Harriet are probably one and the same. So we might talk to the journalist next.
Yes, indeed. I think that yes, we must away to Harry Hargrave. And where do we find him? Americans, hang out in the strangest places.
In the London tabloids, prima donna.
Well, yes, exactly.
They have central offices. If we head to their offices, they should know roughly where he lives.
Well, lead the way, Montague. Let's get this over with.
Yes. I will be obviously submitting a very small little article for them to publish in today's papers, of course, about your failing health and the risk that you might never return to the stage, but possibly will if you have the support of all of your loving fans, and so on and so on and so on. Just
Wouldn't it be more interesting to state that the prima donna was heard while talking to the masses, but she will still appear on stage no matter how injured she is?
Ludwika, I believe you might have a knack for this kind of thing. You're not looking for a job, are you?
His? No, thank you.
Well, bear it in mind. I slip my arm in his. Right, Montague, lead the way.
Right. I should point out I'm your barrister and also your financial business partner. I'm just trying to promote things here. I mean, if you want Ludwika to take over management of your career, we head towards the London offices.
All right. You begin to make your way narrowly through the streets. Professor Scarpati, every once in a while, turning his gaze to what he thinks might possibly be Billum running alongside, but always turns out to be either a small person or a child.
Whenever I think I see him, I will just kind of bellow something like 50, 50, 50. I remember that. Remember that yourself as well.
You see a man, like a kind of a dwarfish man who's sort of like, "What'd you say to me, lad?"
Nothing. Sorry. Apologies. I thought you were a goblin.
I beg your pardon. Now, see
Well,
here, son. I am the statually diminished, and I will not have you undermining me just because you wear a fancy hat, okay?
It'd have to be a pretty deep mind to get under you.
Oh, the cheek on you people in London. I swear, when I get back to Ireland, I'm gonna write. Oh, I'm just, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want any of this. I realized
He's not a gremlin. He's a leprechaun.
His head just goes red, like a beet, like just bright red. Oh, as he shakes, like from his anger, he just physically shakes. As you continue down the pathway, Edward, you are bumped quite violently by an individual running adjacent to you. He is a balding man with what appears to be tattoos all over his face. You sort of get the impression of just some person until you get a closer look at him. This man looks manic. This man looks like he has escaped from an asylum at some point or another, as he looks you up and down with this very unsettling gaze. Pardon. Didn't see where I was going.
Yes, I'm surprised you actually hit me. Most people just simply, it happens all the time. Don't worry about it, actually.
Have you seen the truth?
Well, I've seen the Times, but I don't think that counts.
Lies from those who don't turn their gaze upwards. They lie and tell people the things that they want to hear. They placate the masses. They tell them that everything shall be fine. But we are on the precipice of change, and change is terrifying.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Are you
scene
making
change
friends
as well.
again, Montegrave?
No, absolutely no association with this individual at all, aside from some slight body contact and a little bit of his spittle, but it's fine. Let's keep going. Let's. You have a happy reckoning.
May the blessing of the light find you, child, because it always will.
No, it probably would pass over me, actually. It reminds me of a sporting, when you were choosing teams and things. I always used to, the light never found me for, I was usually didn't even get to play, actually.
He waves at you very slowly as you walk away. As you do
Finally,
so,
someone
oh, yeah, go on.
notices you, and then it's a weirdo.
All right. With the creepy man's words burning in the back of your mind, what portents does the doomsayer speak? Find out next week when we return for episode 3 of Avalon Society London Falls. Thank you so much to our audience for coming and hanging out and joining us today. We've got a bunch of awesome things to promote today. So let us, of course, start with the most important, the people who, of course, gave us a wonderful and awesome place to play and have fun with this awesome game. That is, of course, the Mercs of Mischief, who run a whole bunch of very, very cool and fun and awesome shows apart from this one, which you can catch every week at the same time, at the same place, which is, of course, a Through the Breach game, a card-based tabletop role-playing game set in the early 1900s, alternate Earth, lots of spells and magic and supernatural stuff, whose tagline is still one of my favorites, and that is bad things happen. And of course, they generally do. Although, and I'm going to say this, you guys have talked your way out of so much. Like, you have, I mean, I love it. It's fantastic. But it's like I feel like I'm doing that game with a party of bards. But no. Speaking of too many of any,
you kind of are.
I am a little bit. But speaking of too many classes and stuff, if you want to see some of the other Mercs of Mischief stuff, on Sunday, the Mercs of Mischief is the show that is actually going to be on this channel. Too Many Warlocks is a show that they will be running on Monday, which is a lot of fun. Great cast from there as well. Poison Paradise on Tuesdays, and sporadically there is a YouTube series that you can go check out on the Mercs of Mischief YouTube channel called Hero Factory, where they make characters and familiars and the like using Hero Forge and chatting with people and stuff like that, which is always awesome. And if you're hanging out on the YouTube as well, you can see earlier episodes of Avalon Society, as well as a whole bunch of the other Mercs of Mischief stuff as well. Now, let's go around and find out what's everyone working on right now, starting with Myri. Myri, what are you working on right at this point?
A lot of things, but the next thing that I'm going to do is actually talk to Till. So in 3 hours' time, we're going to stream another what sessions, that's words and how to use them. We're going to talk game design and map design and game mastering. Of course, I'm not the great GM, because that's obviously very much taken, but someone gifted me a cup that says the okayest GM. That's what
You're
I'm
rightest
playing.
GM.
Well, it's okayest GM.
We'll do okayest GM. I'd be happy with that. He's all right. That'll be fine for me. Speaking of course,
I'm gonna get a cup for you that says that.
I'm all right. It's all right. All right. Speaking of course, Till, apart from the wonderful What show, I mean, is that how you have to say it? You have to say
What?
What? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll get there. What else do you have going on in your world at the moment with Dungeon Fog?
Well, right now we are about to release some cool new features on Dungeon Fog. Stay tuned for the next days. We're going to announce them probably on Monday or Tuesday next week. That are involving the great GM to bring some cool new stuff to all of you. So stay tuned for that. We're going to announce more of that next week. But right now, I'm spending a lot of time working and preparing my workshops for the Circle of World Builder that will take place on May the 30th to the 31st, where I will run a few of the map making workshops. and join all the rest of the beautiful people that you can see here with World Anvil and Great GM to give you a beautiful masterclass about how to world build and create your campaigns.
Very nice, and definitely be sure to do that as well. Eddie, we will put a link for that in the chat so that people can go and sign up for it, because there is a website. It is active. You can go and sign up. I have done so myself. So yes, and then Janet, what are we up to? What's going on in your world?
Well, World Anvil has been churning out sheets, by which I mean character sheets for different systems, like nobody's freaking business. So we now have Numenera, Call of Cthulhu, and we've got so many coming. Star Trek Adventures, Conan is coming, Imperium is coming, Savage Worlds, thank you, is another one. We've just gone. Guy knows more about what's going on than I do. We've gone completely bananas trying to release sheets because so many people are playing at home right now. So we have more systems than ever available on World Anvil, which means that more people than ever can play their campaigns on World Anvil. And it's worth mentioning that most of the campaign and world building features are free to use. So you can just go to worldanvil.com and have interactive characters and have a campaign and be able to send things to your players and roll dice and create NPCs in 2 seconds and all that jazz. And you can now do it with more systems. So we're super excited because it just means more people get to play games. That's what we're all about. And yeah, otherwise, if you're a writer, we're just starting our writers update, which is going to be amazing. Pretty excited about it. So that's what we've been busy with.
Awesome. And if you want to keep up to date with a whole bunch of stuff from World Anvil, definitely go check out the World Anvil Discord. 100% vouch for that. That is a lot of fun and lots of very, very friendly people who help folk like myself who couldn't world build to save their life. I am getting better though. I'm getting a little better. Not great.
Yes, you are.
And you know what? There's this crazy thing happening at the end of the month that I'm going to go and check out so that I can improve my skills as a game master. And of course.
Oh, sorry. I don't want to. We're actually doing a talk in that called Agile World Building. So it's about world building if you've never world built before, and world building without having to like do everything before you start the campaign and spend 6 months building a world and then you never play, right? So that's going to be our talk in that. So if you are interested in world building and you haven't ever world built before, that might be a really good thing to check out. And again, it's free.
Awesome. And of course, last but certainly not least, Master, great game master himself, Guy. What do you mean?
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff, but I want to point out the channel is how to be a great game master, not I am a great game master. And I think that's
very true.
But yet, Twitter handle says otherwise.
Well, Twitter handle is actually just how to GM.
And the Twitch handle is great GM.
Well, yes, okay, fine. So there are certain points that are may be accurate or not, but the whole point is how to be one, not necessarily that is a title that I claim, but because I think everyone's wonderful. We have so much fun on today. I mean, today's show is an absolute blast. I'm so sorry I had you shot, Janet, your character.
Darling, it was amazing.
I was desperate.
It was amazing.
Like,
the audience should
we're losing. Yes.
We're all really good friends, so all of this banter is just nonsense. Like, we all hang out together all the time. We all love each other, so that's what makes this game so fluid and so fun, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And no one feels bad picking on Guy. By the way, don't feel bad picking for Guy in this show. This is 12 episodes of what I like to consider 3 years of revenge. So so don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. If you want to feel bad, if you do feel bad for him, go watch Adventures of the Windswift, The Ghost of Saltmarsh, Descend to Avernus, and then download some of Guy's podcasts with me in it. Then come back and tell me you feel sorry.
Wait, you have to give Guy's character a ship and then smash it.
And sink it.
Do you remember how this do you remember what happened in episode 1?
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to say that kind of reminds me of episode 1.
True.
Like I said, I've been planning this for years. So so yes.
The dish best served cold.
So yes, yes. Go check out the Circle of GMs. Go check out everyone's channels and stuff like that. And of course, as always, come and watch all of the stuff on Mercs of Mischief. These guys are a lot of fun and really, really great. Each of the players on the different shows run not only a myriad of great, fun, entertaining games, but each of the performers that feature on the Mercs of Mischief channel also have their independent channels and shows as well. So find something, because you're always going to find something you're going to love, you're going to like. I, for one, am a very, very big personal fan of Too Many Warlocks. It does have a couple of my favorite players from the channel here on that particular show. So yeah, come back, check those out. And yeah, that's it from us. The last thing I'd like to plug, the silent tribute to someone who is here and quiet. That is, of course, the editor. For those of you who don't know, the Dead Aussie Gamer, which is me. I didn't promote myself. See, this is how terrible I am at it. The Dead Aussie Gamer has trapped a Minotaur into my tech box, and that is the editor you may have seen in chat. Donations and the like feed the editor and allow him to grow big and strong. But at the same time, if we don't get donations, that's also okay, because we don't want him getting too big and strong. We want to keep him weak enough to stay within his chains. So yeah, there's that as well. So thank you to the editor. And if you want to see some of his stuff, go to Tabletop Explorers, which is a small channel that he runs small games from and does world building stuff like that. No feeding, editor. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Minion Quest. Okay, fine. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. You can find me on the Dead Aussie Gamer channel, and anywhere you can type Dead Aussie Gamer. I have a show. It's called Minion Quest. It's a D&D 5e comedy, and we are coming up to the end of season 1. Come check that out on my channel, and that is it. I'm done. I'm not doing it. I hate promoting myself. I hate it. It's so much. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Till next week or next time that we're looking at your faces, remember, from us to you, game hard or die trying. Bye-bye.